So I freaking loved the Netflix Daredevil show, and you can find my spoiler-free review for it somewhere right here on the screen. But you guys created such an amazing discussion about it that I wanted to showcase some of your positive and negative opinions about the show so we could deepen our conversation and make it more complete. Welcome to Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's continue our discussion about Daredevil. So I wanted to try out this thing where after I do a review, I'll feature some of your comments so we could discuss further. I'd love to get your feedback on this format. By the way, spoilers. Spoilers. So let's get right into it. Moist Von Lipwig said, "This show is proof that sometimes it's not about originality or innovation, it's about execution. Daredevil is nothing new, but it's definitely something amazing and epic. It's the same old story we love, but done in the way we never knew we wanted it to be." I agree with that, and that is also the reason I've compared Daredevil with The Fall, because that's another show that just tells a very familiar story, but does it brilliantly. It's a detective going after a serial killer. We've seen that many times, but it doesn't make it any less amazing. Tiger Fanman said, "Only thing that pissed me off was that they never went back to the episode 2 old boy style fighting with one shot and no cuts, more Eastern style, and after that every fight was typical shot with tons of cuts and angles. One more thing is Ben and Karen got way too much screen time, where I'm like, give me fucking Murdoch. That hallway scene, oh my god." By the way, they put up the complete scene on the Netflix YouTube channel, and if you're about to comment that that scene wasn't really one shot, no one cares. It doesn't make it any less awesome. There's another very good scene though where the camera just pans around the car and then you see the fight through the back windshield. I also thought that that was very impressive. For the rest of the show, it was mainly about the technique and choreography, and the cinematography didn't play as big of a part. But most of the fight scenes were still pretty intense. About Ben and Karen getting too much screen time, I don't know, you might be right, but I think it was important to establish these characters and their relationships in order to make Ben's death as meaningful as it was. Also, what did you guys think about Karen's character? I'm not sure how I feel about her yet. This next comment might be a bit offensive. I apologize for the profanity in advance. Kane Sion said, "They made the Kingpin into a man-child retard. Seriously, they could not have fucked him up worse. No charisma, no spark in his eyes, no cunning. Just big fat retard. Thank God everything else saved it." Also, Vanessa went from scared little neck grabbing to pluging at explosions. Retarded writing for Kingpin and his waifu. Wow, okay, while I don't appreciate the choice of words, let's try and break this down. Wilson Fisk was done in an unexpected way. I've read some Spider-Man and Daredevil comics, not a lot, but some, and the Kingpin is usually more traditionally strong than how Vincent D'Onofrio played him. Oh shit, I forgot to put that there. Binge Watchers. Yes. That's us. And I did notice that he was a polarizing character in the show. Most people either loved him, like me, or hated him. He was a big baby. He had the impulses of a child, but I think that's part of what made him so terrifying. There's a tweet by Vincent D'Onofrio where he said the most difficult part of playing Wilson Fisk was balancing out his inner child and his inner monster. And I like that because these are exactly the two sides of him that we see. We see him acting like a child, but we also see him decapitate someone with a car because of those childish impulses. And learning why he behaves like he does gave the character so much depth in my eyes. But I'm guessing it wasn't super loyal to the source material, which might have upset some of the more hardcore fans. About Vanessa, I actually don't completely disagree. I thought she was good, she was functional. Fisk needed someone to bounce off of. But she did go from barely knowing him to willing to give up everything for him and being totally okay with him killing people in a very short amount of time. But I don't know, maybe that was exactly what she was looking for. Let's do a positive comment. Rinks80 said, "I was personally amazed by this show. Sure, it had some pacing issues, but they panned out. It was fantastic. I wasn't a big Daredevil fan, but here comes a new show that renews my interest. That's a hard thing to do. Even with the Affleck film that crushed it for me, I was 100% satisfied and I was blown away. It was fantastic. I hope the next few Netflix Marvel miniseries will follow suit, and my god, they need to do a Punisher series. Obviously, he will work so much better here than he has on big budget film." Yes, Punisher on Netflix, and then in my face now, please. I pretty much agree with everything you said. I don't actually remember if the Affleck film was that bad. I just remember that playground dance fight scene, and that alone makes me remember this film as terrible. I don't have time to show you all the comments I wanted to, but there were a few more things that you guys were split about. Some of you had an issue with the fact that Daredevil gets his ass kicked more than once in this show. Like King Franco, who said, "Isn't Matt Murdock supposed to be intensely trained in martial arts? Why does he get his ass whooped so many times in the series by such unimpressive villains for the most part? Why did he get his ass handed to him by Kingpin in his 50s, fat and slow?" And some of you liked the fact that he wasn't this invincible ass-kicking machine, like Colmac, who said, "I really love that the bad guys get up and keep on fighting. They don't just fall down because the hero hit them once in the stomach." I actually agree with that because I think it was less about how good he was at fighting, which he was very good at. He still took on a ton of people and came out on top, but I think it was more about his will to make Hell's Kitchen a better place. And while the show already presents him as Daredevil, I think it is pretty early in his crime fighting career, so by the time that we get the Defenders, I think he will be way better. And I don't think Wilson Fisk was supposed to be fat and slow. I think he was huge and angry and strong. I like the fact that Fisk went and killed people on his own and not just through proxy, like with henchmen or stuff like that, or just had Wesley kill people. I loved Wesley, by the way. And the first time Fisk and Murdock fight is actually after the Nobu fight, which left Murdock half dead. Another thing is the final costume, which I think most people didn't like because it was kind of silly and it didn't really fit the tone of the show. In my opinion, at least, I didn't really like it. And for some reason, it made that final fight between Fisk and Daredevil kind of underwhelming because it looked like his movements were limited by the suit. I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, there's so much more great stuff that you guys said that I would love to discuss, but I don't want to make this video too long. I did, however, have the very awesome opportunity to be on a podcast with the guys from NerdSync Productions, where we discussed Daredevil for about an hour, and we touch on a lot of the points that you guys have also brought up in the comments. So I would love for you to listen to that podcast and tell me what you think. It should be released next Monday, and I will put a link in the description once it's up. I'd love to get your feedback about doing this comments discussion thing in the future for other shows, and also I want to hear your thoughts about the comments we discussed and any other thoughts you might have on Daredevil. We can always continue the discussion on the Twitters and Instagrams and Facebooks and all of those links below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, it helps out a lot. And if you're finding Binge Watchers for the first time, welcome! We're talking about TV every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with news, reviews, stories, all kind of great stuff, all for you fellow Binge Watchers and TV lovers. So you can click that big subscribe button to join in on the fun, or you can check out any of the other videos on the channel. In any case, keep binging, and I will see you next time.